It is.
And you can see the shirt, you can see the logo on the shirt. Friends with Ivan Chen. There you go.
Same store up in San Francisco.
Yeah, both these guys killing it. Ivan 7-1. Sam is 8-0. Obs on mid-range Jeskai Tokens, very traditional matchup. Michael Boland, that might be a familiar face to you. Last time we were here in LA, Legacy Open, top 8 with Manaless Dredge.
And I like his deck. I'll be battling with this thing myself.
Straightforward build of Jeskai Tokens here for Boland. Clearly working out for him very well. A lot of 4s and just a couple 1-ofs. His 1-ofs are Outpost Siege, Jeskai Charm, Valorous Stance, and Wild Slash. Both players going to get things started off with just a couple of lands. Shen will play a copy of Land of War Waste. Looks like he's going to take a point of damage to play a Courser, and he will. That'll resolve. Top cards and Elspeth. Pass that turn back over to Boland. Has raised the alarm on the end step. 2 soldier tokens on the way. We'll go back Boland's way. He'll draw a card.
I'm surprised these Ascendancy lists have not started incorporating more copies of Valorous Stance. It seems so well suited, especially because the place where Jeskai Tokens gets in the most trouble game 1 is it just gets on the back foot against Siege Rhino.
Yeah.
It doesn't have enough time to get something going.
Rabble Master comes in, Goblin Token with it. That's in the red zone as well. The token's going to die, of course. Rather block that than those soldiers. Keep the Goblins low, keep the red creatures low for Stoke the Flames.
Yep.
A Temple, a Scry. Well, you got to show that card to your friends through the Courser being in play. There's Abzan Charm. Got to show it to everybody. There we go. Now there's a Caves.
No secrets.
No, not at all.
No hiding.
See what else Shen wants to do this turn. Just going to pass it back. Mana available for... I have a feeling Rabble Master's not going to live too long. Looks like Bile Blight at the ready. Boland going to play land number 4. And now here's an Outpost Siege. Let's see what Modi wants to go with on this powerful card.
Given the pace of this game, I'm assuming we're going to be looking at this as a personal Howling Mine.
You've got it pegged.
Not quite Howling Mine, but more or less Howling Mine.
Feels like it is.
Howling Mine with an opportunity cost.
Goblin Token red zone. Shen going to think about what to do. Does have Bile Blight in hand. And is casting it. Soldier Token's gone. Goblin Token is blocked by Courser. And we'll go Shen's way. Caves the draw. Top card Sandstep Citadel. Land won't be an issue this turn. He'll put the Citadel into play. Gain a life. We'll see the next card here in just a moment. It's a copy of Windswept Teeth.
And Michael Boland's been very patient with this Ascendancy. You can tell he's trying to set up a turn where he's casting it and something else in one shot, not just committing it to the board to get it out of his hand.
Siege Rhino in now.
And I think this might be the turn now. He's got a pretty advanced board. He'll probably get up to 5 mana.
Outpost Siege turns over a copy of Temple of Triumph. Temple in. Scrying. Top card to the bottom. There's a Goblin Token. Come and get this, Rhino. Man, did.
Yep.
Rhino not scared at all. There's Jeskai Ascendancy.
Not quite the ideal turn that Michael was trying to set up there, of having a lot of action in the same spot, but still, he's got a reasonable amount of life to play with, some cards in hand, another card coming from the Outpost Siege. Might be able to do some pretty impressive stuff next turn.
Attack for 6 here from Shen. Going to put Boland down to 8. The thing about the Jeskai Tokens deck, because here's Elspeth and 3 soldiers most likely, is that it just takes some time to assemble.
Right.
You know, with Hordling Outburst and Rabble Master and Ascendancy. Now, once you get all that stuff assembled, then you get to go nuts. And he's had to take his time assembling some things here. And at the, while he's been doing that, if there is Hordling Outburst, he's been beaten down a little bit.
That's why it's so important in this matchup for the Abzan mid-range player to have Siege Rhino. I know that's an easy and kind of silly thing to say. Of course, you want to draw Siege Rhino, but you just can't give the token deck all day long to get set up. Sometimes Abzan falls in this habit of having way too many reactive cards. And as a result, you don't get any pressure going on, and the token deck has all the time in the world to set up.
Hordling Outburst and an Ascendancy trigger.
And that's especially the case now with Outpost Siege starting to get incorporated into some of these decks. They have even more, another card alongside Ascendancy that's take a deep breath, take a turn off casting this,
Yep.
and if it resolves, things get a lot easier for me going forward.
There's Windswept. There's Flooded Strand. I'm going to sacrifice that.
So it makes having early pressure even more important.
There's a Plains. Yeah, if you let this deck get set up, you're not going to beat it.
Yeah.
You got to push them over before they get set up. So far, no one's done that, as Boland is 8-0. And 6 mana is a real flashpoint of this deck, too, because it has so many 3-drops. You can play 2 spells in 1 turn now.
Yeah, Rebel Master holding Outburst, another copy of Jeskai Ascendancy.
Trigger with the other Ascendancy. And discarding Temple of Triumph. Goblin token into the red zone, perhaps.
It's typically the spot where if you're the tokens player, you want to have found Stoke the Flames by now.
Yeah. Of course, those Whirling Outburst tokens don't have to attack just yet. Rabble Master forces them to attack, but doesn't give them haste.
Yep.
That's key.
They have to attack, but they can't cheat.
True.
They have to still play by the rules.
True. That's as close to his cheating. That's as close to cheating as goblins can be.
Right.
Temple of Malady, the top card now.
No, Goblin Recruiter. That's the closest.
Right. Most don't know about that one. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
That one was too good. Everybody in the red zone. There needs to be some blocking here. Well, Boland shields down. And Abzan Charm at the ready. I'm not sure there's anything he can do here. We'll see.
Well, the question is Stoke the Flames. If he has it, he can probably do some damage in this block.
Yeah.
If not, he's in trouble.
See Boland's block here. He's got Rabble Master in front of a Soldier token, Goblin token in front of a Soldier token, a Goblin token in front of Courser of Crewfix, and then a Goblin token in front of Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino, of course, tramples. Just trying to figure out a way that he can stay alive.
That's another reason why Siege Rhino is so problematic for Jeskai tokens in this matchup is, as you can see here, the deck's pretty good at chump blocking, even against something like Elspeth, but Rhino's just too much damage.
Now, Shen can't kill him this turn, oddly enough. He can say Hero's Downfall, the Goblin token that's blocking Siege Rhino, then Abzan Charm it for 2+1/+1 counters. That's 6 exactly. We'll see if he sees that play. Doesn't look like he does. Still plenty far ahead.
Yeah.
Elspeth's going to tick up. 3 Soldier tokens will come into play. We'll sacrifice Windswept Heath. Stay at the same life total since there is a Courser of Crewfix in play here for Shen. There's your Forest. Thoughtseize on top. Read the bones. Might actually have some interest in the Thoughtseize
Oh,
here.
I think so.
I'll send it back. Abzan Charm. Siege Rhino. Well, that makes life pretty easy.
That's a little bit better. I was going to say, Thoughtseize seems really good here, but Siege Rhino, a little bit better.
Absolutely. Sam Shen going to win game number 1 here over Michael Boland. Abzan mid-range up a game over Jeskai tokens as we do move to the sideboard. So we'll start with Boland and his 2 Arc Lightnings, his Wild Slashes Erase, his 2 Stormbreath Dragons, his Valorous Stance, 2 Glare of Heresy, 2 Negates, a Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker, 2 Chandra Power Masters, and an Elspeth Sun's Champion. What do
Curious
we
to see
like?
if he really wants to go big here. He has a control package, going all the way up to Elspeth. I do like Sarkhan in this matchup. The other Planeswalkers I'm a little skeptical of. I think Chandra's okay. What I do like for sure is the 1 copy of Valorous Stance. Go up to 2 copies. He has 1 in the main deck. And the 2 copies of Glare of Heresy. Need some answers for Siege Rhino and for Elspeth in the Valor stance. Good against Corsair Crewfix, fizzling removal spells, and of course Siege Rhino.
Other side of things for Shen, what do we see there?
2 copies of Drown in Sorrow, an Utter End, a Bile Blight, a Murderous Cut, 2 copies of Read the Bones, a Tastic or the Golden Fang, a copy of Ugin, and a Johnny Mentor of Heroes, a Nissa Woolwicker, 3 copies of Glare of Heresy. The Glare of Heresy is good against both white creatures and Jeskai Ascendancy, so I think that has to come in. I think the Bile Blight is excellent in this matchup, the 2 copies of Drown in Sorrow. Murderous Cut is not great, but Utter End is yet another answer to Ascendancy. All the removal may come in, depending on how Sandman wants to handle this. And even though it's very slow, I like the 1 copy of Ugin, because it is a lock if it shows up, compared to something like Elspeth, for example, which is also slow, but no guarantee of it being a win, even if it stays in play for multiple turns.
Well, we're going to see how things do play out here in just a moment. But game number 2, I feel like is probably still in favor of Abzan mid-range.
Sam's got a pretty good sideboard in the matchup. I actually like the token side of the matchup, and I think it would be pretty easy for it to address more copies of Valorous stance in the main deck.
Okay.
I think you can make the matchup solidly positive with a couple easy tweaks.
But just one in the main, one on the board is
Right.
I think it's going to work its way in more as we go, not just in this deck, but other decks too.
You have some flex slots here, and I'm happy cutting the Jeskai Charm. I think it's just a little underpowered for this deck.
Okay.
And I would be fine cutting just another 3-mana spell out of here anyway.
Well, game number 2 going to get away in just a moment. We will very quickly talk about the feature match area here at SCG Live. Talked about at the beginning of the show, talk about to close out the day as well. You can join it right now.
Yeah, hop right on in. Though if you're not a subscriber, you're in slow-mo chat, which means only 1 post every 2 minutes. But for a $4.99 a month subscription fee, you get access to unlimited posting, plus our custom emoticons and badges.
Myself, you, Matthias, Jetpack Penguin, Slow Play Turtle, many more on the way too. Twitch.tv/SCG Live. We appreciate you watching us. And do feel free to jump in the feature match area anytime now.
Really excited about the next wave, and then the next wave, and the next wave of our emoticons.
We're kind of slow rolling them right now.
So many emotions to be communicated.
It's true. There's a lot of different ways to communicate disdain.
Ennui,
Yeah.
disappointment. Yeah, I mean, whatever. We got design space for emoticons for a real long time, I feel like.
I like emoticons too. Jump in there, just, all right, I was going to say spam them, but don't do that. Be reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable usage of those things.
This is where we kind of drew the line in the sand with my parents' technology,
Okay.
because they've slowly ramped up. They now have smartphones. That's a huge step forward just this year.
Good for them.
But, you know, way behind the curve. I was trying to explain to them what an emoticon was and how there was one to be. And I was just speaking a foreign language. They did not understand what this meant.
I got an emoji from my dad. And I didn't even know. I didn't know that he even had an iPhone, let alone.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, let alone that he knew how to send an emoji.
That's great.
Yeah. I was really
I got no follow-up to that one.
Here it is. Take a look. There's 3 smiley faces.
Wow.
In regards to a Cleveland Cavaliers text messaging thing we were having. My dad just sent me 3 smiley faces with like the ridiculous teeth, and I was dumbfounded.
If I ever get one of those from my dad, it's how I know his phone's been stolen.
Yeah, sure. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
That is so good.
I'm sure he just loved it too, that he found out that was a thing. Oh, you can do this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna dial that up. It's just really fun to watch like people of our generation who are very familiar with technology and then see our parents. My mom has a Facebook. I don't really know if she knows how to use it very well, but she has one of those, and my mom has a smartphone, and she texts me sometimes. I don't know why that's weird, it just is. But it's not weird for me to communicate with you with a text message, so why would it be weird for me and my mom?
It's a generational thing.
Right? But it is like, it's like kind of weird.
Yeah,
whatever.
No, I agree.
But now I just text my mom and dad back and forth. So.
And I was watching my 12-year-old niece do her homework in Google Docs.
Nice.
You know what I mean? To me, that's just sort of mind-blowing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Technology is really something. But the emoji.
We're gonna be in our 60s, and people are gonna be teleporting to places, and we're still gonna drive around in cars because we're old, and it'll all come back to us. It all comes back.
Putting more gas in the sky and all that bad stuff. People will just be teleporting places. I like to be on the cutting edge of technology too. Hopefully I'll be doing it when I'm 60. quick update for you guys here. Ivan Jen did win his last match today, so fans of Jeskai Roa Combo and Ivan, well, he's 8-1.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to be seeing him tomorrow. Boland going to very quickly sacrifice his Flooded Strand. What do we got here on turn 3? He's going to get Jeskai Ascendancy out there right now. He's not wasting any time.
Fingers crossed. You know, this is the setup turn. If he gets to untap with Ascendancy in play, he's a huge favorite to win this game, but there's some risk.
Glare of Heresy says absolutely not. Get that off the table. Play a Sansep Citadel. Good turn there for Shen. Temple of Epiphany. Top card stays on top. Pass it back. We'll bowl and over to Shen. Shen will draw. Hero's Downfall.
It's funny because you would typically not want to bring in Glare of Heresy against a deck that at the end of the day doesn't have that many white permanents in it. But Ascendancy is so good in this deck that you had to bring in some sideboard cards, and you're happy to have a dead card in your hand if they don't have Ascendancy. It's
Absolutely.
so good in the deck. It breaks a lot of common sideboarding theory and philosophy at this point of what kind of reactive cards do you want to face against proactive decks and all that kind of stuff. But Ascendancy is so powerful that it violates a lot of those rules.
And this starts now a nightmare if you're on Boland's side of the table. Because, you know, you had an Ascendancy, you put your opponent to the test, they answered it, and now they have a Siege Rhino. Now we're racing, and the race currently favors Shen. Now Stormbreath Dragon will catch you up a little bit, but this is going to be a tough road ahead.
You know, this is not exactly how Michael wants to play the game. There's always the hope that somehow Stormbreath Dragon or Sarkhan's good, but...
There's Hero's Downfall. Here's an attack. Take a draw. Is it Sarkhan time? Looks like it is. A card we haven't seen a ton of recently. It's going to take up to 5. It's coming into the red zone for 4.
And Sam getting punished a little bit for how he sequences spells. Wanted to hold up Bioblade that turn, I presume, for Goblin Rabblemaster. Used the Hero's Downfall. He could have sequenced things a little bit differently with Murderous Cut on the Stormbreath Dragon, then Downfall for the Sarkhan. Played around some other cards, and now it looks like Sarkhan's in play.
Down to 1, though. Time to untap. Boland will take a draw step. Rabblemaster was the draw. Looks like Michael's going to go with it. And I think you almost have to. Looks like he's going to start here by activating this and then play the Rabblemaster. So there's a 2-2. Bioblight will take care of that. Here's an attack. There's a Mystic Monastery passing in the turn. So 12-10 in favor of Boland right now. There's the attack. Rhino will get that off the table. Murderous Cut in hand here. Liliana Vess. Probably change the way that Boland has to play this game. Looks like Shen's going to sacrifice his Windswept Heath to cast it.
And with the 4th card of the graveyard now, can hold up Murderous Cut against some other haste threat.
Yep.
Pretty good turn.
You know, it's... Every time I watch these tournaments, these standard opens, it's really hard just not for me to want to play Abzan midrange.
Yep. And
Just a really good deck.
And this is what I suspected was going to happen here. Liliana here with the minus power, and Sam just trying to chain together some Siege
Rhinos, yeah.
Let's finish it off that way.
Card's so powerful. There's a land for the turn. Pass that turn back over to Boland. Boland will take a draw step. Looks like he drew a Flooded Strand for the turn. Looks like he's got all lands in hand. Maybe 1 spell over there.
Yeah. He drew a very land-heavy hand. I mean, he couldn't even cast Treasure Cruise last turn, even with all the mana that he had, because he's just had nothing to grease the wheels.
Yeah.
And you see there's still relatively few cards in his graveyard.
Looks like he might be going for a Cruise here. That's the card he needs to have right now, and there it is. So delve away the graveyard. Cruise will cost 3 mana. 3 cards coming, of course. Glare of Heresy goes a long way to maybe helping things out here. No 3 mana spell to play there. That would be huge if he had one.
Yeah, been a big swing. Looks like still more lands in hand. and just going straight for rhinos here.
Hey, makes sense to me. Can you beat 3 more of these things?
Yeah. What was that name of that card from original Ravnica? Congregation at Dawn. You should
That's
go
the
get
one.
Lux on. You should go get Lux on Hierarchs.
Absolutely. Zudex used to do it all the time. Big Zudex.
Yep. It's a little bit of a throwback.
Sometimes you would Congregation of Dawn for a Bloodbraid Elf.
Oh,
And another spell.
fancy.
Yep. Seen Jerry T do that in a tournament or 2. Maybe a little too fancy.
It's a slow burn.
Get yourself Bloodbraid Elf, maybe Ethersworn Canonist, Cascade, boom, gotcha.
Bang. Maybe you can do something better than that.
Maybe. See what Michael can put together this turn, if anything. Elspeth's not bad. Probably got a minus there. Yeah. Take care of the Rhino. He's going to need more draw steps like that to get in this game. Leon's going to take up. There goes a land. That's a Rhino. He's down to 5.
And Bioblight back up here, so this is still a pretty good spot.
Yep.
Take care of the tokens that are most likely on the way.
Ascendancy? Yep. Soldier tokens, pass it. There's Blight to take care of those. Shen will draw. Looks like he picked up Hero's Downfall.
Pretty much perfect.
Yep. Cash this in. You have to imagine a Rhino.
I like it.
Yep. Liliana is just dealing on this game.
First 3 rhinos were pretty good. Might as well go get a 4th.
I'm inclined to agree. Downfall that. Make you feel the perfect card, which I'm not even sure exists.
Yep. Has to be Treasure Cruise into Counterspell plus Glare of Heresy. I guess it's not impossible,
That is not impossible. You're right.
but it's very unlikely.
Stoke the Flames. Trigger. Draw and discard. Nope, that's going to do it. Sam Shen's going to win this match here over Michael Boland. 2-0. Abzan mid-range will take care of Jeskai tokens, and we have our 9-0, my friends.
And Power of Siege Rhino in this matchup on full display. Michael's draws were not great, but it really highlights the problems that Jeskai tokens can have with Siege Rhino at some points, and why I'm an advocate of more copies of Valorous stance in this deck.
It just seems great. And I think the Jeskai deck just needs to interact with Siege Rhino effectively.
Yep. It happens too many times where it gets on the back foot game 1. They have